Good afternoon and assalamu alaikum. I can see some familiar faces here around. Luton and Watford are not very far away, so obviously people will intermix quite a lot. Thank you for inviting me, Dr. Tahir Mahmood, because he actually attended one of our events in Luton not very long ago. On the 24th of March, we had a very big seminar on organ donation and transplantation. And Dr. Mahmood was there, and there were many specialists who came along as well. Instead of talking about myself, I'll talk about those things which will help you, because if I talk about my personal life, there is absolutely nothing for you to learn about. So let me go right into organ donation and transplantation. What's happening, as Dr. Mahmood said initially, that it is a crisis situation in the United Kingdom in terms of availability of organs for us. And if you think of the donors from the South Asian communities in particular, he said there is less than 1%, but good news is, Dr. Mahmood, that because of the campaigns, national campaigns and local campaigns for the last few years, the latest news is that about 50% increase has taken place in the United Kingdom. But that doesn't mean that the donation from the ethnic minority communities has gone up. But it is still good news that more organs are going to be available for the future. I'm going to take you through some slides, but before then I must tell you I'm wearing two hats here today. One is that I set up an organization in Luton called Luton Community Health Forum, because I think there is a need to bring the service users, health service users, closer together with the commissioners, procurers, policymakers in healthcare services as well. And that's why we are having events where the service users and commissioners come together and discuss the mutual needs and how they can influence each other. And that's where we had this organ donation transplantation seminar not very long ago. And the other one, so I am actually wearing the hat of the chair of this community health forum. And the other hat I'm wearing is the United Nations Association Luton branch, because that was set up a few years ago and I was elected as chair, and I'm still the chair of that. And health, access to health services is one of the most fundamental and important human rights. You must remember that. And that actually includes 4 things mainly. And I'll read that out for you because that's the United Nations directives. One is availability of sufficient quantity of functioning public health and healthcare facilities, goods and services and programs. That means availability of adequate provision, health provision for all of us. Second one is accessibility of these facilities, goods and services by everyone without barriers or discrimination, because the lady before me who was talking about the access to GPs, you go to GPs and tell about the problems, etc., etc. But what we find in terms of equality, that there is an access problem to healthcare services from ethnic minorities in particular. It's not necessarily language barrier, but that is an important barrier too. There are other barriers, cultural barriers, family values, transport problems, and all kinds of things, particularly from women's point of view. So, according to the United Nations and also the law of this country, we all should have equal access to facilities, healthcare facilities. The third one is acceptability. That's very important. This means that all health facilities, goods and services must be respectful of medical ethics and culturally appropriate, as well as sensitive to gender and life cycle requirements. That means age as well. For children, for middle-aged people, for older people, it should be respectful of that. Last is the quality. Quality of health service is extremely important, that affects us all. And health facilities, goods and services must be scientifically and medically appropriate and of good quality. And talking about organ donation and transplantation, you'll see there is a lot of fear in the minds of ethnic minorities why they're squeamish about transplantation, why they don't really want to be donors very much. And some of them actually, it's not all of them that want transplantation. I have seen people who don't want even want to be recipients of transplant, organ transplant. And the reason is that sometimes they think it is the religious principles they're not sure about. There may be some restrictions from a religious point of view. Sometimes they feel that who knows if I receive an organ from somebody I don't know, a stranger, who may be a very bad person. And having that organ in me, maybe that will have an impact on my character. So you see how people think about all kinds of things. Another one, think about the dignity of bodies, because they think that when a person is deceased, if organs are taken away from that person, that the dignity of the body will be violated. That's an important ethical point as well. And if you are a live donor, you can actually donate kidney, you can donate even a little bit of your skin, you can donate all kinds of other things like cornea to give sight to others. Some people say that that also violates the body that God has given you. So you see, there are many, many issues, very, very complex issues. It's not that easy. So we can't just tell people you have to be a donor. We have to raise awareness and convince people that organ donation saves lives. And all religions, major religions, tell us that saving lives is extremely important as a principle. So there should not be in principle any restrictions, but still people interpret things in a variety of ways. I'll show you some slides now, and then I will encourage you to actually talk to your families, the loved ones in your families, to say that if you want to really be a donor when you are not here in this world, to use your organs anymore, that can save lives. Because even if you are on the organ donation register, your loved ones will be asked, your family will be asked at the end of your life whether or not the doctors can take away your organs to save other lives. So families must be aware of your wish. But the most important thing is to be on the organ donation register and at the same time talk to the families so that we can help to save lives as well. And I'll show you share some information with you that will give you some idea about where we are in terms of organ donation. Can I show?